divine woman.
Hello, Lucy.
Oh,
Lovely to see you.
you too, with those gorgeous red lips.
Well, I have to.
What time is it there in Australia now? Must be what,
Huh?
8 in the morning for you?
Yes, it is morning time here.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for making the time to come on and chat to our gorgeous women in this community. As you can tell, Fee wasn't born in Australia. So, Fee, I'd love for you just to introduce, where you're originally from and, how old you are and what you do and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Scotland, Edinburgh, for anybody who knows it. I'm 34 and I've been here in Australia, Melbourne, for about 3 years. And in terms of work, I work in the healthcare. So I work in one of the hospitals here in Melbourne and I do pharmacy as a job.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, let's get into the good stuff. So, Fee, I know there's lots to celebrate, and I think this is people's worst part of the call, but it's like, can you remember, and maybe you even want to close your eyes just to go back to where you were when you made that call with me. I just want to really feel into emotionally how you felt, where you were in your life, and why you weren't willing to go one more day without getting support.
Oh, it's really, oh my goodness, going back there. So I was incredibly confused about what I wanted. I had a lot of self-negative talk about I will end up alone. I'm probably not going to find somebody. All of my friends are now married and having children, and that's not the way my life's going. So I'm probably going to have to miss out on this.
Yeah.
I had other self-negative talk like I'm too career orientated, I'm too independent, men don't like that, so therefore men don't like a part of me. And I think right before Soul to Soul, all of this had just snowballed and it was just kind of out of control in my head, and I felt overwhelmed and I felt like I couldn't stop the pattern and I couldn't get myself out of this. And it just was really on my mind all the time. You're still single, come on, find somebody, hurry up, you're going to miss the boat. I don't mind saying this on here, I really want to have children, so for me there was a bit of a push as well, you want to not leave it too long to decide to have your kids. So I had that going on in the back of my head as well, that I had to hurry up, that there was urgency with this. And I really just didn't know how to get myself out of this. So yeah, it was quite a negative, dark place I was in.
Yeah.
And I saw on my Facebook, I saw your Light Up Lucy and had a look at that and really connected with what you were saying.
With the masterclass.
Yeah, the masterclass. And at the same time as seeing that on Facebook, I had just come back from this fantastic holiday in New Zealand. And why I'm telling you this is because New Zealand was something I'd always wanted to do. It was a dream. So my mind was thinking, wow, you've just done something that you always wanted to do. You made that happen. You can make things happen for yourself. And then I saw your Facebook post which I really connected with. And then that just kind of came together with the feeling great after doing this amazing holiday. And I thought, I want to get on a call with Lucy. I want to do this. I want to meet this lady. I want to speak to her. I want to see where this can go for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was super inspiring. I'm like, yeah. I was like, because I love that it was, you know, the truth was you were in this dark place. And then as we do, right, many of us can go, well, I'll just go on a trip and that'll at least preoccupy me for a little bit so I can feel joy for a minute. But actually what it did was you were like, I can create whatever I want. And you use that as a reference to then transfer it to go, if I can do that there with a holiday, I can do that with my love life. And our call, I remember when we first started chatting, you were like, well, I just don't have a big friendship group in Melbourne because I'm still new here and it's probably that. And we didn't stay in that for very long. We went deep to the core. And then you were like, oh, yeah. And because you did, and this is like many of you watching, you do think, well, I just live in an area where there's not many men, or I don't like dating apps, or I don't have a friendship circle where I'm meeting new people. And it's none of those things at all. And so before we go into, you know, really where you went to during Soul to Soul, we just stay for just a moment in what was the worst part for you, Fee, like every day where this just wasn't, like, I think if I remember correctly, you had deep down, you'd kind of given up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was getting really, really sad about what the potential future reality was for me, that I was going to spend it alone. And I was never going to be a mother. And I was always going to be that third wheel every time I went out socially.
Yeah.
I was never going to be the person that came with somebody or, you know, set up friends on dates. It was me, the one that was always going to be left out and left behind. And you're absolutely spot on what you said earlier, Lucy. I was able to trick myself into believing that it was friends that were the problem. If I had more friends, I would therefore meet the guy. My Mr. McDreamy would just walk in. It would all be great. And that was what the problem was. But like what you say, that's not the real problem. That's not the root of the problem. And that's not as well, like, geographics don't really come into this. So I find it incredible just speaking to you just now how I was in that place, how I could have ever been in that place in my head, because that's not how I feel now. And, you know, it's almost surreal actually that you can't quite believe that was you back then.
Totally, Fee. You know, I have those moments myself when I'm speaking to my gorgeous women and when I'm coaching you girls. Like, you know, I don't ever put myself on a pedestal. Like, can I help women? That's my mastery, yes, because I've done it for myself. But when I think back to how I used to roll in relationships, it freaks me out. And it's a celebration for you and for me. Like, yay, we're not that anymore because we're talking now about what's possible. But it is scary to think like, wow, it's like that we allowed that to happen, you know, but you don't know what you don't know. So for those of you listening right now that are really relating to Fee, the bottom line is she was not willing to tolerate another day living like this where she wasn't getting what she wanted and feeling shit about herself and shit about the future and that relationships were hard. And that's why she jumped in. Like, that's why you were like, yep, I'm in, Lucy, let's do this. And you showed up like a frigging superstar every step of the way. No, you really did. And your soul sisters will back me up on that when they watch this. You were just amazing. And it didn't take long for you to see that it really wasn't anything to do with other people or friends or guys. It was all you and the relationship with you. And so, like, let's just move into what really opened up for you. Obviously, we're not talking about like what the program is about right now. We just want to hear, you know, what were some of the biggest aha moments for you? What were some of the biggest breakthroughs that you got from being held and supported through this process?
Yeah, I think for me, one of the big things was around self-love, like learning to love myself. Like what is that for me? Because I had beliefs about, I guess, certain things that the man would do that would therefore make you feel loved and complete. But actually, that's so not true. You are able to make you feel complete. So it was all that learning about what makes me feel complete, what makes me feel fantastic and beautiful. And yeah, I just learned so much about myself. And that kind of fed into as well bits of myself that I hadn't really ever opened up. So
yes.
For me, like being sensual and feeling that sensuality, like I know you were joking about my red lips earlier, but you also know that I never wore lipstick.
No.
And, you know, it's things like, it's such a simple thing, but my God, does it make you feel super sexy and super feminine, and you just learn to love your body, your curves for you. And it's just such an awesome feeling. So that was one of the really massive breakthroughs for me, was becoming incredibly comfortable in my skin and then falling in love with my skin and my curve.
Yes.
The other thing for me was I mentioned this a minute ago, I didn't really know what I wanted from a guy, from relationships. And one of the big breakthroughs for me was discovering, well, what is it that I want? How do I want to feel? What do I think I want my life to look like with my partner? I had never taken the time out to ever ask myself these questions. And when I got onto the program with you, and these were some of the things that we looked at, I suddenly realized that I had never spent the time on myself, asking myself what I wanted and how I wanted to feel about all that. And yeah, it was really powerful for me discovering all of that, because I'd never even thought about it before.
Well, what you're speaking to is extremely powerful because, by the way, it's more than just putting on lipstick. I don't.
Yes, of course.
Just so you're like, oh, I know how to put on lipstick. I can go do that, or I can go and run down like what I want. But it's not that. It's not just like getting clear in a quick second with a piece of paper, like this is what I want. That's not that either. It's very top line. What Fee's really talking to is she started to access her feminine, and she started to go deeper and deeper and deeper into her soul and into her heart and into her feelings, because most of the women that come to me have disconnected from being able to feel. And that's called connection and intimacy that we must have with ourselves if we're going to attract it in. And it shows, Fee, like it's in your energy, it's in your being now, this beautiful sensual part of you where you just have an absolute ball with yourself. Right? And you've attracted in some amazing friendships, and you're meeting like, you know, great guys. So let's really go back to you for a moment to speak about, you know, knowing that your confidence was not in a great place and your belief in love was not in a great place. Where are you sitting now in your life, looking at the end of this year and as we go into a new year? Like, how are you really feeling about
yeah, like completely different energy, Lucy. Like, I am super positive. I don't have that, like, oh my God, urgency, hurry up, get on with this. Like, totally chilled. There's plenty of men out there. I don't need to rush. I know exactly what I want, and I know exactly how I want to feel, and I am not going to be jeopardizing that. So my energy is completely different, and I just can really see a future with somebody, but there's no horrible negative self-talk there, and there's no like, you know, influence to hurry up and just pick the next person that comes along, just so that the job gets done. Like it's not like that. It's
the masculine. What
yeah.
you're speaking to is you now have this internal knowing.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. It's like the only reason you can say I don't know, I'm not in a rush now, is because you're not worrying about the fact that this isn't going to happen. And that's how a lot of women come to me in this state of fight or flight, panic, and complete disbelief that it can happen. So what have you noticed, like, since Soul to Soul and just living your life, like what's opened up for you? What have you noticed, within this shift within yourself?
So you mentioned it a second ago that one of the biggest things has been friendships. I was somebody who was trying so hard to put myself out there to meet as many people as I could in Melbourne and feel like I had this social circle that I could rely on and have fun with. But when I started in Soul to Soul and really dug down into my heart and my soul, and kind of like what you name this program, like Light Up Lucy, get myself lit up from within, like I just started meeting so many people, like in all different situations, and they were drawn to me, and I wasn't really doing the same amount of work as what I was doing before. Like it was all just happening, and every sort of like social thing I went to, I met another person who wanted to catch up, and then I'd catch up with them, and then I'd meet another person through them, and the thing just flowed beautifully and effortlessly, and it just felt a million times better. It just felt like true friendships were being made. These people were drawn to me, they were drawn to my energy. I felt great about me, and the whole thing just came together. I think as well, apart from friendships, I think like in terms of with men, I became, because I took away the pressure of urgency, I also became much more open and kind of fun and flirty, and didn't really think about that too much. And I guess I would notice little things like, you'd be at work and, like men would hold a door open for you, or they would chat to you while you were in the elevator, or, people just were more drawn to you. Men were just a little bit more drawn to you and responded to you when you were, I guess, lit up within yourself, and you were feeling your feminine, and you were feeling great. And
yes, 100%. And this is the magnetism that you work on in Soul to Soul, is to actually, just so you know, like you're not allowed to date in Soul to Soul, because essentially it's like drink driving. You're not ready. You don't want to attract someone in from that place of lack. So what you were doing, Fee, was just pouring back all that beautiful energy and love into yourself, and filling up that love tank, and actually completely retraining your subconscious on how to show up in your life, not just with love, but in every area. Because your confidence started to absolutely skyrocket on every level, right? Because it's not just the soulmate that this was impacting. This was every area of your life. I know you could come on with celebrations and started to notice all sorts of really amazing things like opening for you.
Yeah. And I think that's really important what you said there. Like, I don't want anybody who's watching this to think, oh my God, it's all about the guy, and it's all about just putting lipstick on and writing down what you want. Like, absolutely not. Like, I had to really dig deep, get upset, lots of tears, lots of anger, lots of opening up, getting incredibly vulnerable, and not running the opposite direction from that, like facing it head on. But the result is so worth it because you feel amazing and you feel so connected to yourself. And other things happen for you in your life. For example, for me, like, because my confidence went up about myself and about my body and about how I wanted to feel with men, I was also able to show up for myself. I had lots of scenarios at work. Healthcare, I think everybody knows, is quite a stressful environment. So I've had lots of scenarios where I've had to stand my ground, show up for myself. And I was able to do that without worrying about it, because as women, we worry so much about things. And I would come home and I wouldn't even think about it because I was so reassured and content and grounded within myself that I knew I was doing the right thing for me and looking after me. And I think as well, I had a lot of changes, or noticed a lot of changes with family as well. So some of my relationships changed for me because I was much more aware of, I guess, what some of my issues were, and therefore able to see why the dynamic was a little bit strained, or it could get strained. And that's all completely changed now because I'm so much more open and accepting, and I know my truth, and it all
unapologetic is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What Fee's speaking to is why, a lot of my women have gone through years of therapy, years and years, and they're very aware. I know you hadn't gone through years and years of therapy, Fee, but it's very, very common that women will come to me and they're pretty frustrated because they're like, look, I know why this happened. I know I have dad issues. I know I've got this stuff with my mom, right? It's very cerebral. And that's why talk therapy does not get outcomes, because you're not being guided into actually transforming it and up-leveling. It's just talking about the same stuff and looking at it and talking about it and looking at it. It's like, that's not going to change anything. What Fee's speaking to is deeply integrating and shifting these dynamics so that you didn't have these roadblocks in your life. Because honestly, it's like, we cannot ignore the dynamics that we've grown up with within our family unit that are passed down through generation after generation after generation. That's where we pick up the lack conditioning, the scarcity conditioning, the people-pleasing conditioning, all of it, the martyrdom. And so what you're saying is that it's a much bigger conversation, because we can be like, oh, no, I get on with my dad, or I don't get on with my dad, but I'm fine with that. It's like, no, wherever there's like, I've got this, or I just don't speak to him. It's like when we compartmentalize our life and think we've got things handled, it's actually creating all these blocks within our energetic field. So what you're speaking to is actually really, I know there was a lot of stuff in your family dynamics, and now hearing you just saying, I could feel it when you're saying it. It's like, yeah, that's not really there anymore. But you did dig deep, and it got really uncomfortable, right? Because you were willing to face the music and to heal it and knock it on the head. And that creates freedom. That creates space to actually create from. And you're like a different woman. Like before, it was like you're carrying the weight of the world. And now I'm like, who's this sensual goddess? And the women were so inspired by you as well. What we got to really see was that beautiful queen that started to shine through, who's got a very big voice, who's got a lot to say, and who makes a tremendous impact. And you got to experience that. And I got to witness it, and so did the other girls, and it was really amazing thing.
Yeah, thank you, Lucy. It feels amazing, and I think you said like a key word there: freedom. Like that is exactly how you feel. You feel so much lighter, and it feels spacious in your body. You have no limits. You are super excited to see where you can go, how you can push yourself. It feels just awesome as well when you make those massive breakthroughs. So for anybody who's watching this and thinking, oh my God, I can't dig that deep, I couldn't do that. Yes, you can do that. And you feel absolutely awesome when you do. It is just such a celebration, and you really benefit from all the work that you do. Because I think, so that people understand, everything that you do in this program is applicable. You can apply it straight away to your life. You don't sit hidden in your flat or your house for the entire program and then reveal yourself to the world. Like, it's not like that at all. You work away every single day at it, and you apply it every single day, and you push yourself in different ways each day, and that is how you work through this. And it is completely awesome, because like life, some days you completely nail it and you feel on fire, and then there are other days where you're really hitting massive issues for yourself or massive boundaries, and you just have to
roadblocks.
Yep, you have to kind of keep, I guess, as you always say, Lucy, like, you know, face first, head the storm. Like, you just have to go for it, and you just have to allow yourself the chance and the opportunity to try and break that roadblock, or
well,
try.
Let's speak into that. Why did you do that? It was because of the level of support. Can you speak into that? Because that's
absolutely,
you're not going to do it.
Yeah, so I mean, you're right. If you were to be left alone to do a roadblock, you would probably freak out and head the other direction and not touch it. One of the big things about this program is there is this massive, beautiful community spirit. You have lots of other support networks there. You don't just have yourself, Lucy. You have like your soul sisters who are with you, and they are fantastic because they are having their good and their bad days as well, and they're right there with you. And some people you have overlap with, they're experiencing the same as you, and you're able to kind of talk through it and see one another jump those roadblocks and surpass them, and it just feels great. And it's fun as well. Like, it's just fun. Like, women with women is fun, and it's just, you know, you can laugh things off and you can cry about things too, and it's just this shared experience as well as your own journey, and it's just awesome. Yeah,
Beautiful.
It's really good.
Beautiful, Fee. Well, you're clearly buzzing and glowing, pouring out of you. So what would you say to a soul sister that's in here that's like, yeah, I've already done a lot of work, you know, why would this be different? Why, Fee? Like, you know, I get that you're feeling good and I can tell you've been on this journey, but, you know, there's a lot of trust issues that are in this community, right? That are not for no reason. We picked them up along the way. So what would you say to your soul sister that really needs to hear your voice right now about that?
Yeah, I'd say a few things. The first thing is that this was something you said to me, Lucy, which was, think about all the other times in your life that you've invested in yourself. So whether you've invested in your education, or you've bought a house or property, you've invested in, you know, new experiences, like all of that, most people would say have been amazing bits of their life. And I think you don't get taught about self-love, and you don't get taught about how to connect with your soul, with your heart, what it is that you want. And this is an investment into doing that. This is a program that is not actually a program. It's actually lifelong work, and you're investing full-heartedly into that because you are 100% worth it. And how on earth could you go through your entire life thinking that you're not worth investing in? If you don't think that about yourself, who is going to think that about you? You have to invest in you. You're beautiful and you have to do this. And I understand that people may be thinking, well, I've done X, Y, and Z, and I've already spent time doing this. How is this any different? But the investment is different. So that's the first thing. This is lifelong. You're really, truly investing in yourself, and you're learning the skills to be able to do that for the rest of your life.
Yes.
The second thing is you're investing in a community as well, you know, so these soul sisters that you work with, you grow with, they're just like growing with your lifelong partner. You grow with them for the rest of your life.
Yes.
You know, you form connections with these women that are different connections to your friends, your family, your female relations that you have in your life. And these people they've experienced similar to you, and so can completely relate and connect with you. And that is very powerful, but it's also incredibly unique, and you don't want to let it go. So you not only learn about yourself in this, but you have investment for life, and you have investment in friendships for life as well. And I don't know other programs that offer that, and I don't know, you know, if people have got as much out of other things that they've done as what you can out of this. And yeah, that's what I would really say.
That was absolutely beautiful. I got goosebumps when you were talking about your soul sisters, because it doesn't just finish after the 8 weeks. As you said, you know, that's not how life works. You've got an incredible foundation, but it's about staying connected with your other soul sisters who have been on that deep journey. Otherwise we lose it. So it's about continuing on and doing the work. And, you know, Fee, what this really comes down to is the fact that you are feeling like you're in a completely different place than you were when you first began. That's the evidence. The outcome is, am I showing up differently in my life? Do I feel differently about myself? Do I feel differently even about love? And you can answer that right now.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the answer is yes to all of those. I feel completely differently. I want to make it clear though, Lucy, because I think, you know, some people will probably think me and you are faking this, and we're not being genuine, and we're just reading off of lines. Complete nonsense. Complete nonsense.
Type it up for me.
Exactly. It's not like that at all. Look, I am still single. I'm still dating. I'm still on my journey to finding my life partner. But what is different? Well, I feel completely different about my future. I know that I am going to meet somebody. I know that I'm going to have children. I'm not stressing about that anymore. And that's freed up the space to really take the time to be more selective about who I go on dates with, who is in my life, what kind of friendships do I have with people. I'm not interested in spending Saturdays and Sundays brunching and just moaning about men. Like, I want to hear about all the cool stuff that my friends have got up to and how it made them feel, and I want to tell them all the cool stuff that I'm doing and how that makes me feel. And that's so much more attractive to be in that place, and you will be attractive, and people will see that attraction and be magnetized to it. So
I mean, I'm magnetized, and right now there's one word for me. There's one word that you are embodying right now, and it's called certainty.
Yeah.
You are literally sitting in this glorious certainty, which, by the way, we cannot manufacture. We cannot act that. You are speaking from a deeper part of yourself where it's a knowing. And I'm just sitting here going, oh my gosh, yes, you are having all those things. Why? Because you fully believe that at a deep level. That's why you will. And this is not about getting your soulmate as soon as the 8 weeks are finished. That's ridiculous. That's not how it works. What happens is, as you can hear from Fee, which is so stunning, is she's like, instead of being all urgent and panicky, she's like, I'm in my greatness right now. I'm enjoying my life. And you're playing a much bigger game, and you're talking from a much more elevated consciousness of a woman who's in her body, who's in her heart, who's in her vulnerability. And I can feel you right now. Like, you're with me, you're with these women, and it's palpable. And that makes you even more beautiful and attractive, because you're sharing yourself just so openly and beautifully, instead of being like this. So I do have to go to hypnobirthing class now, otherwise I would keep talking to you. I just want to thank you so much for coming on and sharing yourself so authentically with us. And yes, no, absolutely. For those of you that do have, significant trust issues, I experience it all the time on calls every day with women. It's a big one, and I used to have them as well. But nothing's going to change until you do something different and get the support. And what Fee said is, like, truly loving yourself enough to invest in yourself, because you're not going to get it from self-help books or the odd YouTube or podcast. That's not where we really change at a cellular level. And this beautiful woman right now, like, I could bask in your energy right now for the rest of the night. Like, if I didn't have someone to go, I'm like, just keep talking. It's certainty, and I can listen to that all day. There's no wishy-washy, there's no hope. And that's exactly what I'm getting from you right now, which is absolutely phenomenal. So just so proud of you. And and look, as she said, the work doesn't stop. It's like, 8 weeks, here's a magic bullet, you never have to do anything again. That's ridiculous. So,
but you want to keep doing the work. So I know you need to go, Lissy, but at the end of the day, like, it's not work. That isn't even the right word. You're just happy to learn about you and learn about you for the rest of your life. So thank you for having me. And obviously, please, ladies, have a call with Lucy. Check this out. It's really, really good. And I'm happy to answer any questions people have if you've watched this.
Thank you, gorgeous Fee. Love you to bits. And
okay.
I'll definitely be seeing you very soon.
Yes. Take care, Lucy.
Okay. Bye.